Welcome back to another episode of Big Talk here with my man Rashaad Scott. I do that every time.
Did you really
Paul Norris.
Clearly, you didn't watch the podcast.
And we are here to hopefully get your mind going in the right direction, to stay focused, stay passionate, and go after all your dreams here with Big Talk. So here we go. How's everybody doing this morning?
Pretty good. Actually, a struggle got out of bed with this rain and everything this morning.
What's that have to do with anything?
Because I get real relaxed. I'm an Orpheophile.
I don't even know what is that. That sounds
We say that
terrible.
in the office all the time. It means a lover of rain.
Oh, lover of rain. I've never heard that.
I forgot how to spell. But
Yes.
I thought it was that bad date you had last night.
I would cut that out. You're horrible.
Yeah. So,
God.
man, we had some great news this week. Great news this week. We had,
Oh my God. Go ahead.
with this pandemic, all the high school kids are getting gypped of all the traditional things that they work so hard for. You work so hard for 4 years to get that, to graduate high school, enjoy prom, graduation, senior week, all the things that come along with, your senior year. And they announced that my daughter's school is going to actually do a graduation in July, and they're going to do their prom in July. So, clapping to that. I'm very excited, super excited about that.
Do you remember your prom night? Sorry.
Man, my prom.
I got two prom night stories, but go ahead.
Well, my prom night wasn't too crazy. My senior prom, I was already in a relationship. God, my high school sweetheart, I think we dated for like 8 years. So I was already in a relationship, so it wasn't anything too crazy. I think we went to one of the after parties, but nothing too nutty. Got the limo and all that kind of stuff. But I can tell you this, homecoming senior year was poorly planned, and we were super late. Her and I were super late, so we ended up going by Burger King to get drive-through real quick before we pull up in a limo to Burger King to get drive-through, and then we go, and then we went to homecoming because we were so late. We missed the dinner and everything.
Why were you late?
So I'm trying to remember, man. I'm not sure. I don't know if it was me or her. But I'm always late on time. But
Late on your time.
yeah, it was my time. See, so
Never late.
the people in the industry, bodybuilding industry, don't know me as being late though, because when I have photo shoots and stuff, I typically show up early. Right, I'm so excited. I'm like, yeah.
How come you can't do that for us? You just don't love us?
Well, I think it's a matter of trying to cram too much into your day. Like if I got, let's just say, like for me, it takes a half hour to get to work, and so if I see that I got extra time because this happens, I'm like, I got time to do another program, or I got time to answer this email, I got time to post this on Instagram, I got time to do this for my kid, and what ends up happening, I do that one thing and I turn around like, shit, I'm late. So I think it's just a matter of trying to, whenever I have idle time, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I could be doing something productive. And so where a lot of people, I think, kind of just, they get up early and then they have extra time and they go, okay, well, I'm going to get in my car and take my time to go to work. That way I'm not stressed. For me, I'm always like, I got to get the next thing done. Because I always got so much going on. And good, bad, and different, it's just what it is. So for me, if I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I got an extra 15 minutes, that 15 minutes got to be occupied by doing something productive to work towards what I'm trying to achieve.
I don't know what you explained to me for. I already know that.
Yeah. Why are you talking like you in the library? Talk up.
Hey man, you want to be real loud and black? What you want me to do, man? What's happening?
You don't sound black, you sound retarded.
Anyway, Paul, how was your prom?
My prom. Let's see. My senior prom, it was all right. I left my date.
You left your date?
Yeah, because we were dating during the course of the year, and then we broke up, and she decided to date one of the guys from the rival high school, and we decided to go to the prom together, and she said she was going to pay half of the dinner, and she didn't come up with her half, so I was like, that's cool, I got it. I left out there at dinner.
Oh, man.
Let's see it. But yeah, that was it. I had a good time.
I went to prom twice. So
You repeated your senior year?
No.
Oh.
See, I knew you was going to go there, but no, this was this girl I worked at Arby's with. She wanted me to go with her. So this is like after I graduated. And like most of the people I was cool with was a grade under me anyway, so I was just like, why not go? So, but the first year, my prom, I was like really fine with going by myself, just because I was like, my dad was giving me all this money, and he's like, here, this for you and your prom date. And I was like, well, I don't have a prom date. That's just extra money in my pocket. so, but then this girl in my art class, she couldn't afford to go to prom, so I kind of felt bad. So I was cool with her. I didn't just feel bad. It's like, hey, I don't know you, so here's some money for prom. Like, I was cool with her, so I said, you want to go to prom with me? Pay for her ticket and whatever else, the dues or whatever you got to pay for prom and whatnot. She bought her own dress. Went to prom, and she was a cute girl, but at the same time, her personality was horrible. So we took pictures and everything at her house, and we got to prom, and took the pictures like you get there and everything like whatnot. Say, hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, you look fly, you look cute, da da da, and did whatever speech they do before prom, and then we go to the dance floor. She dances with me for like legit 10 seconds and then walks off. I was like, my breath stink or something? Like, what's going on?
She wasn't looking out the window on the way home?
No, not that. But that happened. I was like, all right, whatever. And then another song came. Oh, let's dance. I was like, okay. Do the same thing. She danced me for like 10 seconds and walk off. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? So I just got tired of it and started dancing with other girls on the dance floor and whatnot. And then one of my friends, she was there with this dude, but he was being like real overbearing. So she was like, I don't want to be here at all. Can you please just dance with me so I don't have to be with him right now? And I was like, all right, whatever. And then the slow song came on. And then my date comes up out of nowhere and said, we got to dance now. I was like, okay. And go dance. Same exact shit happened. I'm like.
She did that Basic Instinct dance.
Yeah, I can't even pay attention to your story because I'm like, what are you wearing?
It was hot. There's a hoodie over there.
Like your shorts cut off because that doesn't. You know, someone said to me earlier, your grades don't match. What? I don't even understand.
It was hot. If I had my hoodie on, I'd match right now.
Yeah, your pink hoodie.
My pink hoodie. That's over there.
Oh wow!
Red, pink.
You know, this looks nice. You know, your red shoes, black, right? You know,
but this is not fit my personality.
All over the place.
All over the place. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine.
I love it. I love it.
I can't even listen. It's so distracting.
Do you want to hear the second prom story?
Oh no, it's good. I'm good. I got my.
You want me to take my shirt off? I'll take it off. Because I'll be brown, red.
All right, go ahead and tell me.
Oh God, that's so funny.
So,
I can't even hear you.
I remember you remember the? I think I told you half of this story before, but I dated this girl in high school, and we didn't talk after I graduated, and then she kept hitting me up. And she had a boyfriend at the time. And she was like, found out that I was going to prom. So we see each other at prom. She's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, your man is like right there, right? And I'm not the type of person to step on people's toes, but this is the one time I did, so you can hold this against me for the rest of the time I'm working here.
Proud of you.
Proud of you.
It's horrible. So I danced with my date and everything, had a good time with all the people there, and as I'm leaving, she comes up to me, and she's like real close to me, and we kiss. Her dude is like somewhere, like probably, 20 feet away somewhere. He wasn't looking in our direction, but the fact she was bold enough to kiss me while she was there, thought that was like, oh, okay, whatever. So prom's over, and she's texting me all night after this saying, I want to be here, he's out here trying to get weed, I don't smoke, and all this other stuff. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Well, I'm hanging out with my friends and doing whatnot. She hits me up the next day, comes over to my house. Dude knows that she coming to my house, and he say, hey, I guess you just got to do what you got to do. I'm like, what kind of response is that? Your girl's going to another dude's house who you know is her ex, and you just let him go. And then that's it.
Interesting.
You know what hit me about that story? Texting.
Texting?
Yeah, he was texting that.
We didn't text when we were in high school. There was no texting.
No,
it was like
30 years ago, man.
I know. I'm thinking, how do we even
ago.
communicate? We actually called from the house.
Right.
I'm on my way. And then you had to actually wait 15 to 20 minutes before you got there to talk again. Now, it's like you get in the car and, texting and driving is a real thing because you get in the car and it's like, you got to get the next thought out. You got to get the next thought out. And before we used to have to hold all that in.
That's crazy.
Which is probably a better thing, man, because we
You actually had to think about
you
stuff.
had to think about things before you say them. It don't just
Right.
come to the top of your head and boom. That's why people just say anything today to anybody. It's
But the thing is, too, it's like this was 10 years ago, so I wasn't like using this text. It was the hit 2-2-2-2.
I know.
3-3-3.
But after you had one of the flip phones, you got really good at that.
Yeah, you like
started to text really fast.
My texting was a rotary phone.
Oh, dude, I remember.
Oh, screwed up. Got to do it again.
Yes.
You know?
I remember when I thought I was hyped because I got the latest and greatest pager. Could actually see the words come through. Yeah. Oh man, I remember sitting. I think the funniest story ever is I remember sitting in a movie theater. I was with somebody, and I'm thinking, like, you don't know who's texting you at the time or who's hitting you up on your pager. You have to go at the one I had at that time. You just see the page come through. You got to go listen to the message, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh man, I know what this is. And I get the message. I'm like, I left the movie for this. I'm going, man, that is so amazing how different technology is. Like, you can actually not only, like, when I'm traveling now, I can see my family,
Right.
You know, talk to them, feel like I'm right there with them. Yeah, back in the day, you didn't have none of that, man.
It's funny,
It's so much different.
Passing
now.
notes.
So much, yes, pass the notes in class.
Writing letters.
The teacher see you, embarrass you in front of everybody.
read your note in front of the class.
Oh man, that happened.
Flip a mixtape.
Oh,
Says it all. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Just listen to this.
Sit up for 6 hours making that mixtape for a girl you like. Oh man, I remember I used to cut my own music for my routines, and I would
On a
sit
cassette or
on a
CD?
cassette.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I would
Damn.
sit there and boom, stop. Oh shit, I missed a second.
Yep.
Okay, stop. Back it up. Stop. Yeah,
You know what's funny though? I know that's because I grew up in the eras like right before technology got big. If you say to somebody, like you say to Christian or something, it's like, hey, you go ahead and listen to this cassette. Like, what's that?
No clue. We found a Walkman at my mom's house. And they were like, "What's that, Dad?" When they put a cassette tape, "What's a cassette tape, Dad?" I'm like, "What?"
It replaced the 8-track. What's the 8-track?
I remember being like, "Man, CDs suck," because when you were riding the car, they hadn't learned how to make them non-skip yet, right? So you ride in the car and you're sitting there and you're driving down the road and boom, boom, boom. And it's like, oh man, you start driving to alter how it's going to affect the song. You're like driving like, this is my part. Let me slow down. I don't want to go over this bump yet.
We were just talking about that the other day too. How it's like, because I just put a Bluetooth adapter in my car, but before that I had a 6 CD changer. I'm like, oh, I'm the shit. All I gotta do is put in 6 CDs. I'm good for the whole night.
I remember
had
that.
the whole case of CDs where you just flip through like that. I was like, what do I feel like listening to today? And then when they got better at burning CDs, I'd have to buy them, just burn them. It's like, you put this song on there, put on, boom, I got 6 CDs, over 24 songs per CD. I'm good for the whole night, maybe the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Now I don't even think people listen to. You don't even go buy CDs. You just stream everything.
Yep. I think the last CD I bought was 2012, and it was Childish Gambino because of the internet.
2012.
Oh, he's around then?
Yeah, he's been around since 08, I think.
Who's that?
Donald Glover.
Oh, right. Did the what's that song he did that was real
Red Bone.
controversial? Controversial song he did.
Oh, This Is America.
Yeah, that one. So yeah, man. So should we talk about something bodybuilding? Bodybuilding audience. So everybody's gonna get back in the gym for the first time since June. Since March, right? So most people have been off
March,
8-9 weeks and been out of the gym, and I guess it's kind of important that you make sure you attack it properly to come back in the gym and make sure that you don't overdo it. You can't go from 0 to 100 or you'll be back out of the gym with an injury or you go backwards. So how would you approach your training getting back into the gym?
So I'm old and I've learned, right? Just to go slow. I'm going to feel the movement. I'm going to get full range, as much range as I can do, safely. I know what hurts me, so I got time. I don't have to step on stage until June of 2021, so I got time. I'm not going to rush things, especially in the beginning, and then I'll get after it once. Probably about 4, 5, 6 weeks in, then I'll start really pushing it. But just take your time, because if you don't, it'll put you out, and then you'll be out even longer. So
Right.
just you learn to do what you can do without hurting yourself. I
Right.
mean, that's
Right.
the main thing, and that's this lifestyle we live. It's about learning your body, and not only learning your body is taking time. It's a marathon, you know. And I feel like, you know, in today's society, it's all instant gratification. I talk to these young dudes. Dude, you know, I'm gonna put 30 pounds on. Well, 30 pounds. I put 25 on. Well, you didn't do shit before,
Right,
and then you
right.
did something, so there's gonna be a result. But you just can't. It's very challenging to put consistently 20 pounds on
yeah.
every year.
Definitely.
And they all want it now.
Right.
But this lifestyle, if you're in it for, you know, if you're really into it, it takes time to build and build and build. Because I know you've been around for, you know, and seen the top end of it, flash in the pans. You know, this is next great. This is the next
Oh,
person that's
man.
going to do it. This is Mr. Olympia.
Yes.
This is this and that. And next thing you know, they're gone within a year. You're like, what happened to them?
Yeah, this guy, I remember this guy was big with BSN. I forget his name. You know, and he had this huge, he hadn't done a show yet, but he had these monster legs. He did like a local show in 1 year overall. Had monster legs, and BSN signed him to this crazy contract. Supposed to be the next up and coming. I mean, I think I faced him in nationals one time, beat him. I think I was like third. He was like not placing, and like 16th or whatever. But he had this crazy contract with Muscle Development, BSN, off of his potential.
Right.
And you know, I remember like when I won nationals, like Flex Magazine signed 3 guys that were going against me with the anticipation that they were going to beat me in nationals, you know. And that's what I always talk about. Like I'm telling people, you know, like it's you got to take your time in this thing, right? Like
really do.
when you want things too fast, they go away too fast. Like all the people we see rise super quick, you know, you turn around and like 3 years later they're out of the sport,
Right.
Or they've passed away, right? Unfortunately,
Yeah.
And you look at like perfect example is Phil Heath. Everyone goes, man, he's the gift, he's amazing, but he still took, you know, he probably started 2003, right? 2005 he wins the USA, which is about right.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, everyone knew he was going to be Mr. Olympia. Despite everyone knowing he was going to be Mr. Olympia, it still took him 6 more years. Think about that, 6 years at the top, where everybody's telling you you're going to be Mr. Olympia, and you walk in the gym never lifting and tell your coach, I want to be a pro next year.
Yeah.
Like it's just a huge disconnect. So I advise anybody out there who's in our sport coming back into the gym to take your time. But once you get going, be realistic. Like it is a lot easier now to turn pro because there's so many more opportunities.
Sure.
There's you know, they're giving top 2s sometimes. But even if you turn pro, what are you going to do with the card if you're not even developed?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Because at least as a top amateur, you're somebody. But I can tell you straight up, I was with Muscle Tech, and you know, as a top amateur, and I was signed, and I was getting magazine coverage and national ads, and they were sending me all these supplements, paying me a little bit, getting photo shoots, flying me to Canada, all this stuff. As soon as I turned pro, not even an opportunity to do anything. 3 months into the contract, they were like, Fred, we gotta let you go. I'm like, what? Well, you're not hot anymore. You're not at the top. You're not the top amateur. You're bottom of the pros. And it's true. You turn pro. Everybody's like, I want to turn pro. And you're starting all over again.
Yeah.
So if you don't learn patience as an amateur, you're gonna be in a world of hurt when you turn pro and have to work your way back up again, right? So just be patient. Do it consistently. That's the main thing. Just be consistently better every day, and you're gonna get there.
My favorite is when somebody hasn't even walked on stage. They might be prepping for a show.
Right.
Next thing, what's your goal? You know, top 5, win your class, those, you know, state level show.
Yeah.
Well, I figured, I do that this year, and then at the end of this year, I'll compete nationally, get my pro card, and then within a year or so, I'm going to do Mr. Olympia.
I remember somebody walked into your office saying
Like,
that.
what?
I was at my desk doing something. I was like,
Yeah. People
What?
people really don't respect. Like, you would never think you're going to go play baseball for the first time and be in the major leagues next year. People don't respect the iron game the way they should. I mean, like you don't realize, like everybody at the national level looks good.
Yeah.
You know, everybody looks good. So what's going to make you stand out? And if someone and this is what I tell people all the time, if you're ready for the national level, people don't come up to you anymore and say, your arms look big, your legs look big. They just say, damn, you look great. Because if you're ready to win at the national level, it's not about parts, because everybody's got good parts.
Everybody does, yeah.
It's when you stand up there, they're perfection head to toe. And when that happens, now you're ready to go to the next level.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, stop talking about going pro and start talking about working on the weaknesses.
Right.
You know?
Or
But
at least win your state.
yeah, like
Or do a regional show and do well.
I took second in my state. I'm gonna do nationals. See what that happened about that, right? Like,
Okay, well, there was 2 people in your class. So
I know, like come on, you ain't ready yet.
I don't know.
You're not ready yet. But, you know, like I'm not the coach that's gonna damper anybody's dreams. So, you know, I'll tell them, hey, yeah, I would like you to wait a little longer, but if you want to try it, we can try it.
Right.
But the worst is, like, and this is the reality, even if you let somebody try it, they still go with the anticipation of doing well.
Right.
So when they go to nationals and get their ass kicked, they're like, it's hard for them to accept that.
Right.
And then it comes back on you as the coach. So, you know, to me, I'm always like, look, I'm never going to tell anybody what they can't do.
Right.
You know, the way I was coached is, you know, they give me their suggestion, but whatever I'm going to go with, as long as I'm willing to put the effort, they're going to support me. And that's the way I am. But if I tell you, hey, you've been doing this like less than 2 years, and you're doing a national level show, if you place in the top 10 anywhere or top 15, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people are like,
I mean,
I didn't win.
Right.
I didn't win. It's my first time and I didn't win. You know, like, you got to have more mental resolve than that, and you got to understand that as long as you look better than you did last time out, then we've won.
Right, exactly.
And that's got to be your
You know,
real benchmark.
Yeah, because our sport or our lifestyle when we're on stage is subjective. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? The judges, what they're looking for that day.
Yep.
So having the mindset we all want to win, we all work our ass off, we all pay our dues to get on that stage, but it's out of your hands. So the only thing you can control is your attitude, your food, and how hard you work in the gym.
Sure,
That's pretty
sure.
much the only things that you have control of.
Like this
you know?
one YouTuber I saw a while ago. I think maybe when I was in prep or before I started or something like that. And her coach told her that, oh, you can go pro. She was doing bikini. So you can do pro, you can do this. And she had never did a show. She was just a fitness influencer. And she was in prep, and my ex was following her whole journey and whatnot. Got on stage. I don't even think she made it in top 10 or whatever for whatever show she did. She was just heartbroken because her coach pumped her up and saying that you should have won this, you should have won that. But like you said, it's subjective. It doesn't matter where you go. If that one judge is looking for one specific thing, whatever level you're going to, then you just might. We went to that one show in Lower Maryland, and this one dude was getting praised left and right, and I'm like, how? Like, you didn't look bad, but for what? Like, it was physique, and I was like, you don't look like what? I mean, the hardest person on stage was one of your guys. So, and that was the whole thing. But my point, not to get on that subject again, but the point was, it's all subjective, and then she was like, I don't need to get on stage to be judged by people because I know I look good and all this other stuff. I'm like, you know, that's literally all you're doing.
Unless I won, and then
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like crazy how people's mindset is just like, oh, your coach pumps you up, you get on stage, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah, I love when you see people that are so hyped to do a show, and they don't do as well as they want, and then all of a sudden, bodybuilding's bad for you.
Yeah.
It's not a healthy relationship with food. Like, look, this is what I'm telling people, okay? Bodybuilding as a hobby, as a lifestyle, is healthy. Bodybuilding and get on stage is not about health, it's about whatever it takes to look the best you can fucking look. So stop trying to correlate them as one thing. Bodybuilding and lifestyle is healthy. You do cardio every day, you eat the right foods, you train your body hard, your heart's stronger, cardiovascular diseases are lower, diabetes, all these other things that affect normal people will not most likely happen to you. But to do what we need to do to look amazing on stage so that the audience, the judges are like, holy shit, that's not about health. It's about the extremes to get your body to look absolutely amazing. So stop putting the two together. Like, I see all these people on, you got, fit your macros and all this other stuff. And it's like, I do believe you can get shredded on fit your macros. Seen it 100 times. But I still say to this day, show me somebody big and shredded on fit your macros. Bikini girls can do fit your macros all day long. And they'll actually do really well. And at the end, you just got to taper and make sure they're eating the right foods and bring them in really tight.
I legit read an article about that last night.
Yeah, I mean, like bikini, and a bikini is one of those categories where you can turn pro very quickly because, unlike the other divisions, I don't really think you can work to create the best bikini body local level wise. Like if you go to a local show, you either got it or you don't. You know, like if you worked out a little bit and you have a natural shape, most likely you're going to look really good for bikini. Mm-hmm. But if you don't look good naturally, like if you don't naturally have the nice glutes, nice hamstrings, and the small waist, I don't care what you do, it ain't happening. Because if your waist is blocky, there's too many girls out there with a small waist and big glutes and hips that look like your traditional, oh my God, look at her on the beach, that it doesn't matter how hard you work. Because what are you going to do? Make your delts bigger? Then you look too big for bikini. Right. Make your legs bigger? Then you look too big for bikini. You know, now wellness division is a nice division to allow people that don't want to be crazy shredded, want to carry some muscle, and can develop enough to be competitive. But bikini is normally it's like either you have it or you don't.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what would you do what do you know, you're the CSCS guy, so how do you advise people when they get back into the gym to make sure they're not going to overdo it so they can continue to progress and not regress when they get back?
I mean, it's pretty much same story, different persons, because you can't just jump back in who has been over 12 weeks now, or 10 or 12 weeks for Delaware.
I said 8.
8? Oh, wow.
8 or 9, I think. But either way.
Either way, you can't just jump back in from what you were doing in March. Because let's say you were benching 315 for 6, and it was like, oh, I know I can do 315. You get on the bench, that shit, you might get it for 1, maybe. Like, because you haven't been, especially if you haven't been doing anything. Right. It's because now your muscles has been relaxed, your joints are loosened up. Depending on whatever you're doing in your lifestyle, you are, well, you about to say something?
No. Got this protein shake brewing.
But coming out of that end, I'm good.
Yeah, no doubt.
But pretty much, like Paul said, you have to work your body back into it. You'll easily get back to it with muscle memory and neurological memory of what you were doing, depending on how long you've been doing it. And even if you're brand new, like you said, people think, I want to put on 30 pounds of muscle. Well, in those first 10 weeks of you working out, you're not really putting on 10 pounds of pure muscle. You're working your body to a neurological level where it's getting familiar with what it needs to do with the weight, and you're making yourself stronger because of X, Y, and Z. Now, if you've been doing it for years, you'll pick it up pretty fast, and you'll get close to, if not right back to where you were. So just take it nice and slow and move it back into the range you were in. And no point of rushing it. And like you say, you'll get hurt.
Right. Would you suggest doing like a full body split, or like maybe like coming in 4 days a week and maybe splitting the body into 2 parts? Like, how would you suggest somebody come in and really start?
Well, for somebody who's been doing it for a while, like I'll use myself for example, because I've been working out for like 10 years, so I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't necessarily do a full body for me because I have specific goals I'm trying to get back to. So I'd probably do something like a push-pull day or something like that, upper, lower. Like not, I wouldn't break it down to specific body parts. Now, if you kind of just got into fitness, because we fell right around the time where people were doing that New Year's resolution, I would definitely do full body, because you started doing it and then you fell right off, and then your body went back to ground zero. So start with a full body to get your heart rate moving, especially if you're trying to lose more fat. You're working your entire body, so definitely break that down depending on your level of expertise in the weightlifting.
Right. Okay. All good stuff. I'm trying to not self-soothe so much.
I can wear.
I'm trying to be aware, you know, like I do my fingers or something. You know?
You were struggling.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, well, so I would say, if I'm telling you guys and you guys are listening to me, I'm going to tell you, if I'm you and I'm coming back into the gym, and I'm not going to talk to the beginner here, I'm talking to the person who working hard for years and everything just got shut off and all you've been doing is body weight home workouts, I would suggest coming back and doing a split of chest, back, and bis. On Monday, Tuesday, come in and hit shoulders, tris, and quads. Wednesday, take a break, and come back and do the same things over. And that way, you're going to bring your neurological adaptation back faster because you're hitting the body parts twice a week, and you're not overtaxing and creating too much volume for one body part by doing it that way. So that's how I would do it. I would keep my reps between 10 and 12, so you're still in that hypertrophy range. And I would try and, if I'm looking at weights, I would start with like 60% of what you were doing when you stopped, and then build up 5 to 10% every week from there. And I think if you do that, you're going to come back and be back where you need to be within a 6 to 8 week period. So I would have tried that. After 3 weeks of doing the splitting the body part into 2 days, then I would go back to my traditional split. And I think you're going to be no problems, tendons to be as strong as the muscles, and you don't have to worry about pulls, tears, any of that stuff. So that would be my suggestion to you. Obviously throw some core in there. I can say, working with John Meadows now, I'm doing a lot more core work than I was doing. And I don't really know if it's making a difference in terms of my physique. I don't really feel like that, but I do feel like it's keeping my lower back a little stronger and allowing me to pull more, allowing me to get back into the compound lifts.
Keeping you safe.
Yeah, like, just protecting my lower back and everything. So, yeah. But with that being said, I'm thankful that he's recovering.
Yes.
He had a heart attack, and it was due to some blood clots from when he had a colon surgery years ago in like 2005. So very, very thankful that he's okay. And I'm thankful that it didn't come from the traditional or what everyone thought it was, which is steroids or anything like that, because that's kind of that stuff gets scary. Being that we're in the bodybuilding and the things we do, you're always worried and always conscious of your health. That's why I suggest everybody, if you're doing any performance enhancing stuff, make sure you're getting your blood work done consistently, and making sure that you're not just, being careless about your health. Because I just listened to a bodybuilder that I'm friends with go online and do like a confessional because of Luke Sandow's death with, God bless him. So, someone's having any, what would you call it, mental issues or
Yes. Mental
health problems, definitely reach out, talk to people, find the help you need, because, life is too precious, and there's too many people that depend on you to not be here, And I think, but back to what he was saying was, I take sometimes the lifestyle I have for granted, meaning, the family, the kids. I never take that for granted. Let me rephrase that. The situation can be taken for granted sometimes because it just is my situation of how special it truly is, right? Because a lot of people that pick our sport of bodybuilding have to feel like they have to isolate themselves to be really good. And in that isolation, you lose out on a lot of good things that come along with life. Family, kids, so you have the house, you have money, but you don't have anybody to share it with.
Right.
And that's like to me, that's like the worst possible scenario, is to have all these accolades, have this abundance of success, and have nobody to share it with, and no one to pass it on to.
Sure.
So to me, that would be like the worst case scenario for myself. You could have nothing and have nobody to share that with too. So I guess it's better to have the success. But I feel really blessed that, I've had the ability to have an amazing wife, have amazing, healthy children, and a great family of support behind me. So I'm very thankful for that. After hearing that, I was like, man, that would be depressing, if you have no one to share it with.
Absolutely.
So, okay, well, I guess that was a mute point. I guess no one's going to jump on that.
You said it.
That was a juicy topic,
Just be appreciative.
It's one of those topics you just like, you said it.
Yeah, okay. Man, well, give me a graduation story then, damn.
A graduation story?
Something.
Which one had 3 graduations?
All right, give me one of them.
Oh, goodness.
He's a popular guy.
I know.
No, well,
Special.
military, high school, college.
6th grade.
Talking about high school, man. Look, man.
I think you should say
Hey, I graduated military at this same time. Well, April.
Okay,
But it was
high
around
school,
springtime.
High school, man. High school. Give me a high school one.
Graduation story. All right. Well, the day after the last day of high school, I don't remember why we thought this was a good idea. It was we all went to my friend's house, and we were all just chilling in the backyard. It's like, you know what? Let's just have MMA fight back in the backyard. It's like,
that's real drastic. Yeah, still, I have no girls around, did you?
I think only my friend's sister was there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There
Nothing's wrong with that.
you go.
So thought it was a good idea, and then we all went by. First, we went by weight classes, which was a horrible idea because I was tall but heavy, so I had no muscle at the time, and I wanted to. Had this fight with this dude who was the same height as me, same weight, but all muscle. So I was like, this is not going to go well. And this is when I realized.
He was all muscle. He was the same height as you.
All right, we pretty much.
He was all same. How was he the same weight?
He was the same weight, same height. All right. Obviously, he had some fat on it, but if you looked at him, if you looked at me in 12th grade, if you looked at him, two completely different people.
Right.
So I was 6'2", 185, and he was 6'1", 185, 190.
Right.
Either way,
Stickler. He's like, wait a minute.
I'm so confused.
why? If I pull up a picture of this dude, you'll see what I'm talking about.
He felt like he was more muscular.
It wasn't felt. If you ask anybody who was there,
Right.
this dude was all muscle.
Okay, all muscle. You said he was carrying body fat. Go ahead, finish.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God!
One in every episode.
Why you tell your story? I'm gonna pull a picture. But so I got like maybe a few good hits in and whatnot because of my arm length, and then for whatever reason we had to stop and we started up again. So I go in for a Superman punch, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you got me. That was good." And he came up, popped me right in my eye real hard. I was like,
That was your graduation.
it was the last day of high school.
Oh my lord.
I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
I'm
I just
good.
went to parties.
I know.
Well, we did that all summer, but that was like how it started on the last day of school. I had plenty of stuff from 2010, but we'll be here all day talking about it.
2010.
2010. That was a good year.
I turned pro in 2010. That's
we both had good
that was
years.
a party.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my God, that was a party. I turned pro. I didn't want to go to sleep, man. I was like, I don't want this day to end.
I got a story, but it's not graduation related, so I'll tell at the call. Tell his story.
There you go. Funny story about 2010. I do the USA, and my coach is like, look, this is gonna work. We're gonna keep sipping water the whole time. I was like, look, my body doesn't work like that. I know all the new gurus are out here saying you can sip water, but you know, I'm a true believer. Everybody's body's different. So I knew my body wasn't gonna work like that. And was I fuller? Absolutely. But I was carrying fluid. So backstage, I'm pumping up, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, are you like a super heavyweight? You're huge." I'm like, "Oh man," and I'm kind of like, okay, maybe it's a good thing. But I remember the year before when I first hit top 3 and first came on the scene, where people were like, "That's Freddie Smalls." I was so depleted and dry, right? That I was like, that was a look that really got me noticed. So when I'm backstage and I'm sweating a little bit, I'm full, veins everywhere, man. I'm just like, all right, I guess this is okay. I get on stage, there's judges. I don't even know if they really called me in the top 3. I feel like, I don't even know if they really called my number. I just jumped up there, right? And obviously they called me, they moved me out. But I didn't feel like I was going to get in the top 3. And they called me, but that show was tailor-made for me to win the overall. There was nobody, and it was my show. Muscular Development called me the night before telling me, contract is yours as soon as you win. Optimum Nutrition that talked to me, contract is yours as soon as you win. And lo and behold, we flopped. Bam. Now, in 2009, when I'm at the USA, Flex Magazine's calling, we're going to do a photo shoot, we're going to fly out to California, we're going to do this, do that, right? Muscle Mag International, that's not even around anymore. They hit me up, we're going to do a photo shoot tomorrow in Vegas. So I had all these photo shoots lined up. 2010, crickets, man. Crickets. I'm like, I just took top 3. Like, nothing. They're like, yeah, but you didn't quite look as good as you did last year. You know? And you were bigger, but you know, it's like, and, okay, show.
We can't see this.
Show the picture.
In comparison.
All right. I fail to believe that you guys are the same weight there. You know?
Look at how little he is.
You look tiny.
That was 2010, Rashaad.
Wow.
Wow. Your head's so
Okay.
small.
So
Like a coconut.
it was so bad in 2010 that Steve Weinberger comes backstage and says to my wife and to George, says to my wife, whatever you're feeding him at home, stop it. Says to George, whatever you're doing with his diet, change it. He looked that way 4 weeks out. He's like, bring what I know you're capable of bringing to nationals and it'll be your title, right? And for a judge to come back, I mean, I had to be way off, right?
Right.
Way off. And yet I still took top 3. So
Jeez.
that was one of those things where you go, lesson learned, because you got to know your body. And I'm sitting there sipping this water going, there's no way, this is not right.
Yeah.
And after prejudging, you know, my coach's like, man, I think you got it. I'm like, this fucking judges didn't even look at me. So stop lying, right? So my wife's like, no, she said, you know, you've got it, you got it. I'm like, you know I don't got it. But whatever, okay, I'll go with the hype.
Right.
As soon as we get up the next morning, because the USA is a 2-day show, we get up the next morning, we go to my coach's hotel room, and he's like, these fucking judges. And I'm like, I told you I don't got it. And I'm like, oh man, I just saw, you know, $80-something thousand just go down the drain just like that. Just like that, right? Because I'm like, you know, when you're coming up, all you're looking for is that sponsorship contract, right?
Contract, yeah.
So, lo and behold, it didn't happen. But Muscle Tech kept me, right? They didn't drop me. They kept me. So going into nationals, we were still poised to do that. And I sent my coach pictures about 13 weeks out from nationals. He calls me up. He's like, "You don't want to fucking win." He's like, "Once again, you're way too fat." I'm like, "I swear I want to win."
I really want it.
I'll do whatever it takes. That's the line that bodybuilders tell me. You know, I'll do whatever it takes, coach. No, you won't, because you ate cheeseburgers all fucking off season. You didn't do what it takes. But so anyway, we got in shape. It was, and then 4 weeks out, I tear my rotator cuff.
God damn.
4 weeks out, I tear my rotator cuff. Doing what? Something I don't do. I don't do manual labor.
Yeah. Oh, we know.
Just not a
We know.
Nothing wrong
My
with that.
hands hurt.
My hands.
I'll tell that story after this. Don't matter what I was going to say after this. I'm telling that story. Finish yours.
So I'm doing, I guest posed the night before, and it was awesome. And then we come in here in my office, and we're trying to fix it up, change the color. So I'm sanding. Shoulder felt fine. Next day I wake up, can't move my shoulder. And now I'm 4 weeks out. Go to doctors, like, looks like you got a small tear in your subscapularis. I'm like, all right. So they're like, well, you got to take 6 weeks of rest. Obviously, that's not an option.
Right.
So literally for 4 weeks, sat in an upright recliner. I slept in an upright recliner. Lived on Vicodin the entire time. Stayed in a sling during the day, except to take it off the train.
Huh.
And this is incredible, right? So we get the night before nationals. So I went to nationals. Everything's good. I kept my size. Everything's good. I get to nationals. The night before, my wife looks at me, and I can see it in her eyes. She's like, oh my God, not again. Something's happening, right? Because my body just wasn't reacting well to the plan. So my coach gets there. He looks at me and gives me something. He never told me what he gives me. Gives me something. 6 hours later, spot on, right? Spot on. So I'm like, yes, right? Shoulder is killing me. I'm like worried, am I going to be able to hit my poses tomorrow, all that stuff, right? I go into the night show, or into prejudging. Hit it, they pull me center. They're judging me and Juan Morel back and forth. And I come off stage, my coach comes back, he's like, welcome to the IFBB. Swear to God, my shoulder didn't hurt again until my shoulder didn't hurt again, right? So I was so high, my shoulder didn't hurt, right? I get up the next day, you know, the judges are sitting at the table, they're winking at me. You know, you're part of the club now, Fred, you know. And, right, so.
You know what I'm thinking of.
Oh, I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to be funny. So then we go to the night show. I win, right? Do the overall. Pissed that I didn't win the overall, but whatever.
You won the overall.
I don't know. I beat Rob something. I beat him like 3 times as a pro in the pros. Nah, he's not. He's doing like he left this, did MMA. Now I don't know what he's doing. But he had these 24-inch arms. Muscle Development did this whole special on where he's shooting a gun and everything.
Starts with a B.
Ropalinka or something. Yeah. But again, Muscle Development pick wrong. But it was funny because after the show, I'm like, oh, I'm done. I've been dieting all year, because you figure if you're dieting for the USA, you're starting probably April, right? Or end of March. So you're dieting for the USA, and then that doesn't go right. You take like 2 or 3 weeks, and then you start dieting again for nationals. So you've been dieting pretty much all year. And I was just like, oh man, I'm done. Muscle Development calls me up. Hey Fred, I just started a photo shoot for Muscle Mag on Monday. They call me up, like, we want to fly you to California, do a photo shoot on Friday. I'm like, fuck that, I'm done. I'm like, they're like, well, you just won nationals. Don't you want your photo shoot? I don't give a shit about the photo shoot. I want to eat, right? I want to eat. Fuck the photo shoot, right? And this is what I'm telling you, young bodybuilders. If they want you, they will pay you. Because up until that thing, I think I was doing photo shoots for like, $500-$600. The rate I told them, I was like, there's no way. I told them a rate so high so they would not bring me. They paid it and paid for all my expenses to have, and it was me and Brandon Ray.
Brandon Ray.
Brandon Ray, yeah. We did he won the light heavies, I won the heavies. We did a photo shoot together.
Okay.
That photo shoot was 12 hours long. Mind you, my rotator cuff was torn. It wasn't until after that photo shoot that I felt my rotator cuff again. Mental.
It is.
All mental.
A lot of it, yeah.
All mental. It was like I was on such a high, winning, because you got to understand, like in Delaware, I never got the respect that I was going to win. Like, I think the only person that ever said, Fred, you're going to, you have the ability, it would be Jack. Mm-hmm. Right? Jack Osborne, who owns a training center. He would always be in my corner. But all the other local bodybuilders, they were hating motherfuckers, man. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, Fred can't do it. Fred's too this, Fred's too that, and I never really gave a shit what anybody else thought. When I figure I put my mind on something, I'm going to do it anyway. Right. And I suggest you guys take that same motto that who cares what anyone else thinks about you? Some will, some won't. Believe in your own purpose. Who cares? It's got to be about what you see in the mirror, what you're excited about, and what drives you. It's not really about what anybody over here thinks about you. So, but yeah, it's just crazy how strong the mind can be. Strong the mind can be.
That's something I was going to mention earlier. I do a lot of personal growth and listen to a lot of motivational stuff, and and I was thinking, this morning I was thinking about it. I was like, man, something I talk to my patients about a lot is having that attitude, that mindset. What I call it is, so what? So what you're tired?
Right.
So what you don't feel like eating? So what you're aching? So what? It still has to be done. Right. And you can put that into business or your personal life or
everything.
Or I deal with people in addiction. So what? You have a flat tire. You still have to go to that meeting. So what? You still have to do what's best for you, especially if it's a goal of yours.
Sure.
And having that mindset or that little record that's playing in your head, it's just like, so what? It doesn't matter. Man, I was working and I couldn't get that cardio done. So what? You have to do it at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So you didn't cook your food. So what? You're gonna have to cook it at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just having that attitude of so what? It doesn't matter what it is. You're still gonna get it done.
Yeah.
And that's huge in the bodybuilding world or life itself. Is just having that attitude. Just so what?
Definitely life. Because if you don't have that attitude, which a lot of people don't, then you're just going to be stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again, pretty much making yourself insane on not being happy. And people do go to dead-end jobs because, I got to make this much money. I had talked to a friend the other day. She wanted to be a personal trainer, but she said, but I still have to make X amount of money. And I was like, well, you see Fred, he been doing this for a living. He said, well, I'm not Fred. Well, if you keep that mindset, you won't be. I'm not saying you have to be him, but it's doable. You can make X amount of money and have a healthy lifestyle and live what you want to do, be happy in doing it. And why be miserable making $100,000 when you can be happy making 40 and then build from there and do whatever it takes to get back to that 100,000. Because as long as you are healthy and you're happy, that's all that matters. Now, granted, I'm not saying be irresponsible and just like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna do it just because I want to be happy. But no, think it out. How do you want to go about it? Because like this, one of my favorite songs, in one of the lyrics, it says, if people are willing to pay for anything, no matter what it is. Everybody will see painters, writers, poets, and if you want to do it, just do it because somebody will pay you for it. So,
yeah, I mean, if there's a need out there, you provide what people need, then they will definitely pay you for it if it's good. And I think the problem in our industry with fitness professionals is we undervalue what we bring, right? Like we think of ourselves as, and I don't call it personal training, I call it fitness professional. And the reason why is because you should be able to offer your client not just the X's and O's of exercise, but be able to offer them an outlet for like almost like emotional support, right? Because you're helping them, you're there for them, you're motivating them. So you got to become, if you want to become a successful personal trainer, you got to learn to be a coach too. And and personal training by definition is I teach you how to work out. Coach, I'm motivating you, inspiring you, and getting the best out of you every single workout.
Based on your goals and dreams.
Absolutely, right? So I think that's where it starts. And the second thing is, you're afraid to ask for the money. If I'm providing you something a service that's elite, and if you don't feel like your service is elite, then you need to study enough to make sure your service is elite, right? You need to put yourself in enough practical experience where you think your service is elite. So that's the first step. But once you believe your service is elite, then you need to require or demand elite compensation, and not be apologetic for it because you're doing what it takes to command that. Sure. A doctor doesn't go to school for 8 years, 9 years and wait to make money so that he can be shy about what he's going to charge. Yeah. And it should be the same. Like, you should be studying every single day to be better and better and better. And if someone gives you something that stumps you, it is your job, your duty to go find that answer. So, but in that, we're going to wrap up here. Another great talk, big talk. And I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling people about our podcast. Subscribe to us, ring the bell, like what you see. Peace.
I love it.
Dude.